Star Wars Rogue One, more like Rogue Squadron for the PS1.
This is the first Star Wars spin-off side story, not counting the other spin-off side stories. This is the dark and edgy prequel to Episode 4, but it just ends up being the happy, lighthearted sequel to Episode 3. I'm mixed on the quality of this movie, and I'm going to spoil a little bit of it because most of my complaints lie within the writing and the characters. I'm not going to spoil any major plot points, but I am going to pick apart a few select scenes and some themes of the movie, so a spoiler-free quick review it's pretty good. It's a fun movie to just go along with. It's not as good as The Force Awakens, but if you don't mind your characters being dish rags, then you'll enjoy this movie. If you have bad taste, then this movie is for you. Now into some minor spoilers. I have to say, the first 30 minutes of this movie are a complete mess. You jump from so many different time periods and locations and characters, I couldn't keep track of anything. The movie also introduces planets with the action movie font. This is something that a lesser movie does. Star Wars is better than this. Especially with how fast we jump from planet to planet, the information it gives is pretty useless. The opening would have been a lot better if it just stuck to one planet. There are also some really weird inconsistencies, like one guy is torturing someone for information, so he sends a squid monster at him, and the squid can read minds or something, and the guy says that a side effect of having your mind read by the squid is that you lose your mind, and we can see a little later that the dude is just mumbling to himself, and he's just out of it. But then like 30 seconds later, he's completely fine. Didn't he lose his mind? What happened? There are also way too many characters, and none of them do anything. Like, the guy who got squidded should have died. This guy doesn't do anything, and no one really develops. If they just cut a few characters or killed some people off and just had these 4 main characters, then the writers would have more time to develop these few people and we would have a much stronger movie. This guy, Black C-3PO, is the best character. He's kind of an ass, but it's funny.
Why does she get a blaster and I don't? Did you know that wasn't me?
I also like Toph from Avatar: The Last Airbender, but after he was introduced, he didn't do much in the movie, or grow as a character at all. Then again, no one really grows as characters. Nothing about them really changes, and no one has a real arc. The Rebels also kind of suck as characters. I got the feeling that they were going to make the Rebels dicks and have this whole who is the good guy moral ambiguity, and they kind of do that, but not really. I would have appreciated it if they had gone all in. I mean, they rescue Jin from an Imperial prison, and the robot says something like, "We are rescuing you, don't try to escape." And I got the feeling that Jin was just moving from one prison to another, but that's not really how it is, and it's kinda disappointing. The Rebels are still the good guys, and for like 5 minutes, Jin is just mildly frustrated about being on the mission. So this review has been pretty negative, and it's gonna get more negative, but I want to stress that this isn't a bad movie. It isn't even disappointing at all. But it is a safe movie. It's safe to the point of being uninteresting and forgettable. Forgettable being the best way to describe this movie. It didn't do anything great or particularly noteworthy. I barely remember the second act at all. They went to like this rainy planet for some reason, and character development almost happens, but not really. And the only thing that stands out about this movie is how much I don't care about these characters. I really hope that this is the last movie about the Death Star. There's an infinite amount of stories that could be told in the Star Wars universe, but they still keep going back to the Death Star, and it's getting pretty stale. Rogue One is definitely worth seeing. I was really harsh towards it, but it's the kind of movie that gets better as it goes on. I really only have problems with the beginning of the movie, and I completely forgot about the middle part. And I wish the characters had more time to grow, but that's really where my complaints end. I do love the ending and pretty much everything about it, and the battle on the beach is pretty cool. Overall, Rogue One was good. I recommend it, and you could say I was nitpicking a lot, and I probably was, but I really only complained that the main characters suck. It's not that big a deal. And at least I didn't talk about Darth Vader's stupid pun.